Hey y'all, Patrick here with Thomann's Guitars and Basses, and today we're going to be talking about the world of recording bass at home and all the different methods and options that are available for all players no matter your budget. So within the last 2 decades, there's been such a humongous advancement in technology that's really allowed musicians all over the world to be able to record music from the convenience of their bedroom. And now more than ever, those technological and recording options are so accessible to musicians no matter what your budget is. And today I'm going to be focusing on quite a few different methods that you'll be able to record your bass with, but first you need to start with an interface and a computer. Whether the computer you're using runs on Apple or Windows, it doesn't matter. The amount of options available for both is quite extensive. Now for me personally, I use a PC that I built a few years ago that runs off of Windows 10. And now with audio interfaces. Audio interfaces give you the inputs and outputs needed to record guitar and be able to play back and hear all that. There are plenty of quality stripped back interfaces from a lot of great brands for under 250 bucks. For me personally, I use a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. This runs for less than $150 and it does everything that I need it to. Now, once you have your computer and audio interface set up and ready to go, you're gonna need a DAW or a digital audio workstation. Basically, this is where you'll be able to record your tracks, export them, add effects and whatnot. Depending on the features you're looking for and the budget you're working with, there are a ton of different DAWs out there for everybody. Even if your budget is $0 for a DAW, there are plenty of options out there for you. For Mac, you can get GarageBand, and then for Windows, you can get Audacity. Both of these are completely free and have a variety of different effects with them too. And if you're able to spend money on a DAW, there are a lot of great options out there like Cubase, Reaper, Reason, and FL Studio that offer a lot more features and even more effects on top of that. So now that we have our computer, audio interface, and DAW set up and ready to go, we can go ahead and plug in our instrument and start recording. So the very first thing we want to do is make sure that we're not peaking the signal. We don't want it to be too low or too high. As you can see with my Scarlett 2i2, a little LED pops up whenever it recognizes a signal. Green is good, yellow means you're about to peak, and red means bad. Never let it go to red, ever. There is such thing as too low of a level, because then if you try and raise the volume on that too much, you're gonna get a lot of unwanted noise and hiss added to your sound, which never sounds good. But of course, if you're peaking, it's just gonna sound like garbage. So there is such thing as too low, too high, and of course, you wanna stay in a good sweet spot. Now the first method we're gonna try out is plugging the bass directly into the interface with nothing else and just that straight signal by itself. It's not the most dynamic or exciting sound, but nonetheless, it is a direct line, which a lot of producers love anyway, because what they can do from there is go ahead and be able to reamp it with whatever amps, sounds, and effects that they want on top of it to make it sound even better. And speaking of amps and effects, we can actually use plugins to get a nice, cool bass tone. There are just an incredible amount of amp and effects plugins that are available, especially for free, ones that sound really good. Some cost some money, but there are a lot of free options out there too. With these plugins, all you have to do is download them, open them in your DAW, and you're good to go. So for this next example, I once again have my bass plugged directly into my interface with nothing in between, and we're going to be using the Corey Wong plugin from Neural DSP. This is a $100 plugin that's able to get you a really solid bass tone. Okay, that sounded much more full and dynamic. That's a very usable bass tone. And again, all we have is the interface, the bass plugged directly into it, and a $100 plugin. Now the next recording method we'll be using involves this. An amp, a tried and true bass amplifier. Now with a majority of bass amps out there, you're either gonna have a DI output or a line output, which allows you to be able to plug into your interface and have that tone ready to go. But of course, just a heads up, you're not gonna get the exact sound from the amplifier. Sometimes depending on what option you're choosing, you're gonna have just a direct signal, much like when we just had the bass plugged in directly into the interface. But some amps also have onboard cab simulation too, which can give you that much more full sound that you're looking for. But right now we'll just have a direct DI output and listen to what that sounds like. cool. We have a nice balanced output that sounds good, and it's just, again, a very direct track. But now let's go ahead and turn on that cab simulation and see what kind of sound we can get with it too. Wow, yeah, that is a much bigger and fuller sound. Now, is cab simulation always needed? No, it's not, but it is a really nice option to have on hand. Now, of course, if we have a bass amp head, we probably have a bass speaker cabinet too, which we can do the tried and true method of just going ahead and miking those speakers. Now, for today, I'll be using this AKG D112, but there are a ton of different microphones that you can use, even the tried and true Shure SM57. Now, when it comes to miking a bass cabinet, the big thing is mic placement. Really, there's so many different options available, and the different tones that are on hand is kind of endless. No matter which way you put it, up to the speaker, around the speaker, which way you're pointing at an angle or not, you can get completely different tones out of it. The main thing is you just don't want it to be too close to the actual speaker, because otherwise it's just gonna rattle and not sound good at all. Now, last but certainly not least are preamp pedals. I know a ton of bassists out there who just bring a bass and their pedal board to a gig and to recording sessions, and that is it. That's because a lot of preamps on the market today have that DI out where they can just plug it straight directly in, and some even, like this Tech 21 VT bass, have cab simulation right there on the pedal too. Now, everything I've talked about today is the extreme basics of recording bass at home. There are more methods, more options, and of course, if you're just starting out and you're looking at different things, it is okay to be overwhelmed, but don't worry. Just choose something, go into it, and try your best. There are a ton of learning guides out there and a lot, again, of different options out there, no matter what budget you're working with. But that's going to be it for me today. Let us know in the comments below what your favorite recording method is. And of course, thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.